There's this quiet thing I've been thinking about lately. Something I think so many of us feel, but we just don't really have the words for it.
Oh, what kind of feeling?
Well, it's this workplace mystery, really. Imagine you are watching a coworker, like the one who maybe misses details or, they're literally always asking for your help on a Thursday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly they get the big role, they get the promotion that you have been quietly, working toward for like 2 years.
Oh, yes. That sting.
Yeah, it stings. You sit there staring at the company email and you just think to yourself, like, how is this even possible? Because, in a perfect world, a workplace would be like an X-ray.
An X-ray.
Yeah, like the boss could just look at this clear, high-res scan and see exactly who did what, who solved the crisis, who actually brings the most value.
But that X-ray does not exist.
Exactly. It does. And it leaves so many hardworking people feeling like they are doing something wrong just by doing their jobs well.
It is such a painful thing to watch happen. And many of us just blame office politics. We think, they just played the game better. But when you really look at the psychology of it, it comes down to a basic mismatch. A mismatch between how we want the mind to work and how it actually works.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we expect managers to judge raw output, right?
Yeah.
To act like a perfect spreadsheet that tallies up every task. But the mind just doesn't do that. There is this huge unseen gap, a gap between how good your work actually is and how much of it people truly perceive and remember.
The unseen gap. I
Thank
like
you.
that. Or, well, I hate it, but it makes sense.
Right, because human brains, they don't look at raw data. They rely on this mental shortcut. It's just a quick memory grab bag.
Kind of like a search engine.
Exactly like that.
Because I always think of it like your manager's brain is basically Google. You could spend years building the absolute best, most perfect website, meaning your daily work, your habits, your deep skills. But if you haven't set up your keywords, the manager's brain just returns a blank page. Meanwhile, the person who always speaks up about their tiny wins, they just have great search results.
That is a perfect way to look at it.
Yeah.
The mind is just an organ that burns a lot of energy. It is constantly looking for ways to save effort. Digging through 6 months of old emails to judge your quiet work. That is deeply tiring. The brain hates doing that.
It just wants the easy answer.
Yes. So when a boss is trying to decide who gets a raise, they default to whatever memory takes the least amount of mental energy to find. If they can easily, quickly recall 3 loud moments when your coworker spoke up, that coworker's skills feel real.
Wow.
But if your skills force them to do heavy mental lifting to remember, your skills feel abstract. The brain just links easy to remember with highly skilled.
That is wild. But it also makes a lot of sense. Like, the boss isn't trying to be mean. Their brain is just taking the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
But that brings up a really real block for people. Because if all it takes is giving the boss's brain some easy memories of our work, why is it so hard to do? Why do so many of us just freeze up in a meeting when we know we have a great update to share?
It's a great question. We usually just call it a lack of confidence, right? We blame ourselves.
Oh, totally. I'm just shy, or I'm just an introvert.
Right. But the physical reality of the body tells a different story. Your daily physical state really controls your social courage. Take sleep, for instance.
Okay.
When people don't sleep well, it actually lowers the activity in the front part of the brain. That is the area that handles complex planning. And it weighs social risk.
Wait, so the brain sees speaking up as a risk? Like a physical threat?
Yes, because deeply, in terms of human survival, it is a threat. Long ago, staying safe in the group was a matter of life and death. Standing out, claiming a higher rank, it carried the risk of being cast out.
Oh, wow. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, the brain's alarm bell still goes off when we think about boasting or stepping away from the pack. To push past that ancient alarm, you need a ton of mental energy. So when you run on 5 hours of sleep, your brain is just drained. Speaking up isn't just scary, it is physically harder for your brain to do.
I have to push back a little bit here, though. Just playing devil's advocate. Are we really just blaming our fear of talking on a bad night's sleep? It feels a little like we're giving ourselves an easy out,
It's a fair point. The biology doesn't create the fear. The fear of being judged is just part of being human. But your body state lowers your shield against it. Think about the daily corporate grind. When do the big updates usually happen?
Usually in the mid-afternoon. Everyone is busy in the morning, so the big meetings get shoved to like 2 or 3 p.m.
Right. And what is happening inside your body at 3 p.m.?
Oh, I see. The afternoon crash.
Exactly. If you work through lunch or you just had a quick sugar snack, your blood sugar is dropping, your morning coffee is worn off.
Yeah, you're just dragging.
Right in the exact moment where you need sharp, clear mental energy to take a social risk, you are dealing with brain fog. Your body goes into safe mode. And the safest choice is always to stay quiet.
Wow. So eating a good lunch doesn't magically make you loud, but starving yourself actively ruins your chance to be seen.
Yes. Step one is simply feeding the machine, giving your mind the fuel to take a chance.
Okay, so let's say someone is fully rested. They ate a great lunch. They are hitting on all cylinders. But they still stay completely hidden. Because there's this thing I've noticed, and it's kind of a paradox.
What's that?
The people who get hurt the most by this unseen gap, they aren't the folks who lack skills. They're often the best, most talented people in the whole company. Why does being really good at your job make you worse at getting credit for it?
It's a very common trap. When you get really, really good at something, the work becomes second nature. You know the exact value of what you make. And because it's so clear to you, you suffer from the curse of knowledge.
Oh, I know this one. The idea that the work speaks for itself.
Yes, my work speaks for itself.
High performers wear that like a badge of honor. Like, I don't need to brag. Look at my numbers.
And it is sadly one of the most harmful myths a person can believe.
Yeah.
Because without careful daily repeating, the memory of your amazing work just fades from your boss's mind in a few weeks.
Weeks? Really?
Easily. Doing good work doesn't make a permanent memory. Repeating things builds the memory. But highly skilled people fall into this trap because they think pointing out their success is just annoying. They think the boss already knows.
Because they assume the boss has that x-ray machine.
Exactly.
And I think they also stay quiet because of the fear of looking arrogant. I mean, we all know that one person in the office who constantly hypes up their deeply average work.
Oh, yes.
Nobody wants to be that guy. So people tell themselves, I'd rather be ignored than look like a loud fraud.
But the mind sorts confidence and arrogance into completely different boxes.
Yeah.
Arrogance is tied to vague claims. If you walk into a room and say, I completely saved our whole team this month, the brain hears a threat. It sounds like a dominance play.
Right, it feels gross.
But sharing clear, exact facts is processed differently. If you say, I fixed the intake forms and it saved us 4 hours a week, that sounds grounded. You aren't boasting, you are just updating the database of your manager's mind with true metrics.
It's just facts. But group dynamics make this so tricky, because I'm sure everyone listening knows this feeling.
Yeah.
You are in a meeting, you share a smart idea, and it just lands flat. Crickets. And then 10 minutes later, someone else, usually someone with a louder voice, shares the exact same idea. And the whole room loves it. They get all the credit for your thought.
It is maddening, but it goes right back to how the mind pays attention. The brain stamps a memory with the most vivid, loud source. Not the first source. The loud voice creates a stronger sensory flash, so the mind just links the good idea to the person who spoke the loudest.
But we have to be real here. The advice can't just be go into the room and yell louder. Because the workplace, and society in general, does not treat everyone's loudness the exact same way.
No, it certainly does not. The cost of speaking up is not fair. It is not even. We often find that women face a much higher cost for the exact same self-praise that helps men.
Yeah, the bias is so real.
A man who loudly claims credit is often called a strong leader. A woman who does the exact same thing with the same tone is often called too aggressive or not a team player.
Which means telling people to just speak up more isn't just bad advice. It can actively hurt their careers.
Less.
If being loud carries a huge social cost, or if it just isn't who you are, you need a totally different path. Which brings me to this idea I love. It takes all the pressure off.
Micro-sharing.
Yeah, small, quiet presence. Because the idea of walking into a room and shouting, look at my grand success, is terrifying.
It is awkward, and frankly, it isn't needed. Micro-sharing is about small, quick, low-stress moments of sharing your work. It is the exact opposite of saving up all your wins for one scary meeting at the end of the year. I was talking with someone recently. Let's call her Sarah. She was a project worker. For 6 years, she was the perfect worker, always beat the deadlines, handled huge tasks. But she was always passed over for a step up.
Let me guess. She assumed she just needed to work even harder.
Exactly. She took on extra tasks, stayed late, kept quiet, fully stuck in the trap. She was waiting for the x-ray machine to turn on.
Oh, man. I feel that. So what happened?
The breaking point was her yearly review. Her boss, who truly liked her, could not name a single major thing she had done that year.
Oh, that is brutal.
The boss wasn't being mean. It was just the memory shortcut we talked about. Unseen effort is simply unseen by the mind. So Sarah changed two small habits.
What were they?
First, she started keeping a private weekly log, just a list of what she finished and the exact results.
Huh?
Second, every Friday, she sent a very brief email to her boss, just 2 lines. Hey, wrapped up the intake project this week. Numbers look great. Have a good weekend.
Okay, but my inner cynic is flaring up again. A busy boss gets, like, 500 emails a day. What if they just skim it? Or just delete it without reading it? Doesn't the whole plan fall apart?
That is the secret beauty of doing it in writing. It actually does not matter if the boss replies, or even if they read it deeply in that exact second.
Wait, really?
Really, you are not asking for a chat. You are building an archive. Human memory is weak, but an email inbox lasts forever.
Oh.
When November rolls around and the boss has to write Sarah's review, they don't have to strain their mind to recall March. They just search her name and boom, a 52-week paper trail of clear, true facts. Within 8 months, Sarah moved up. Her work output hadn't changed at all. She just gave her boss's brain a steady drip of easy data.
It totally steps around the anxiety. You don't have to change your core self, you just change your tracking rhythm.
Yes.
I think about folks in tech, too, people who really hate the idea of self-praise. Like this guy, let's call him Michael, a senior engineer I heard about.
Oh, the Michael story is perfect for this. He thought self-praise was a cheap trick. A trick for loud people who lacked real skills.
Right. And he watched 3 lesser-skilled peers get moved up, and he got so bitter.
Yes. Until a friend asked him a simple question. Can anyone outside your small team actually explain what you do all day? And Michael realized they couldn't. His work was hidden in deep code.
Nobody saw the magic he was building.
So he refused to become a loud extrovert. It just wasn't him. Instead, he just reframed the whole concept. He saw it as accurate data sharing.
Accurate data sharing, that sounds very engineer-friendly.
Very. He started writing very dry, brief, highly technical notes after a big sprint. No emotion, no boasting, just the problem, the fix, and the system impact. And he sent it to other teams as a quick FYI to keep everyone aligned.
He just gave them the facts.
And the demand for his time went crazy. Within a year, other teams were asking for him by name. He became highly seen without ever once bragging.
But, what if you are in a really toxic space? Because I know listeners are thinking about work cultures that actively punish anyone who tries to stand out, like places where even sharing facts makes you a target for jealous peers. How do you survive that?
In a toxic culture, you never share with the group. You shift entirely to one-on-one written tracking. You use Sarah's method only. A weekly note sent only to your boss carries almost zero social risk.
Because no one else sees it.
Right. You aren't triggering anyone's alarm bell. You aren't showing off for your peers. Under the cover of simply keeping the boss in the loop, you solve the manager's memory flaw. You quietly build your searchable archive without painting a target on your back.
That is such a solid foundation. We know how to manage our physical energy to act. We know how to escape the trap of thinking our good work speaks for itself. And we know how to use small sharing to gently feed the memory shortcut.
Yes.
But eventually, you want to move up. You want to get into the rooms where the big choices are made, the budgets, the big roles.
Sharing your value is the first step, yes. But the true path of your growth is decided by who gets that message.
Right.
There's a massive difference between 2 key roles in the workplace: mentors and sponsors.
People say those words like they are the exact same thing. But they really aren't, are they?
Not at all. If a mentor is like a wise guy who privately helps you grow your skills,
Yeah.
a sponsor is like an active investor who puts their own name on the line to push you forward.
Oh, I love that contrast. A mentor talks to you, but a sponsor talks about you.
Exactly. A mentor gives you feedback behind closed doors. That is vital for growth, but it doesn't always get you the role. A sponsor has true company power. They speak for you in the closed-door meetings that you are not invited to. They give you presence by proxy.
Presence by proxy. So they take all those keywords you have been feeding them in your weekly notes, and they plug them into the executive search engine.
Think about Jennifer, a market analyst. She used the Friday email habit perfectly. But she didn't just send it to her boss. She also sent those clear, factual notes to a senior leader who liked her work.
Expanding the circle?
Yes. Within a few months, that senior leader was in a closed-door meeting about team budgets. And that leader directly quoted Jennifer's exact numbers to push for her to lead a new group. Jennifer wasn't in the room, but her exact, clear facts were.
Timing has to play a huge part in this, too. If the mind grabs whatever is easiest to recall in the moment, You want your sponsor to have your wins right at the top of their mental inbox when the big choices happen.
Timing is everything. The best approach is to plan your small sharing around the company's choice windows. If you know reviews happen in November or budget planning hits in March, you don't wait for the big meeting.
You seed the ground beforehand.
Exactly. In the 3 or 4 weeks leading up to those moments, you slightly increase your updates. You make sure that when your sponsor walks into that big room, your amazing work is the most fresh, easy memory they have. You are working perfectly in tune with how their brain naturally works.
It almost feels like a cheat code. But really, you just stop being mad that your boss's brain is flawed, and you start working with the system.
Once you see that managers judge skills based on what they can easily recall, the unseen gap stops being this huge, painful mystery. It just becomes a basic puzzle that you solve with a gentle routine.
And we can all build that routine. Before we wrap up, is there any final habit people can use if they are still feeling that deep fear of speaking up?
Yes. If the idea of even sending that Friday note makes your chest tight, practice saying your facts out loud to a friend first.
Out loud, really?
It sounds a bit silly, but physically saying the words lowers the brain's alarm response. Speaking up for yourself is a trainable physical skill. It is not a fixed trait. Every single time you practice it, the mental path gets stronger and the fear gets smaller.
That is amazing. We have spent this whole deep dive looking inward, focusing on how you, the listener, can close this unseen gap for yourself to get the respect, the clarity, and the growth you truly deserve. But I want to leave everyone with a slightly different way to look at this, a way that looks outward. If our minds rely so heavily on this quick memory shortcut, if we are all so easily swayed by whoever happens to be the loudest or the most present, how much quiet brilliance are we losing?
So much of it.
Right. How many new ideas, how much world-changing creativity is our society completely missing out on, simply because the creators never learned how to play this small sharing game? It brings us right back to that X-ray machine we talked about at the start. The workplace is never going to be a clean, perfect scan of who is best. It is messy. It is beautifully, frustratingly murky.
It really is.
So the true challenge for all of us isn't just learning how to set our own keywords and speak for ourselves. The real challenge is asking how you can eventually use your own resilience and success to become the sponsor. How can you be the one who reaches into those mucky shadows, finds someone else's quiet brilliance, and pulls it into the light?
These thoughts, these questions, they don't have to stop here. Geeks Mindset has many more podcasts and videos just like this one. Subscribe to the channel and explore other episodes. They all flow the same thoughtful way. If this podcast felt genuinely useful to you, kabang, share it with even one person in your life. That one share can bring a real change in someone's life. And it helps Geeks Mindset reach more people who truly need this. If this brought you real value, look for the join button right next to the Geeks Mindset logo below this video. Click it and become a member of the Mindset Support Circle. Your support helps honest mindset awareness reach thousands who are silently struggling. Geeks Mindset moves forward because of you. Thank you so much from the heart for being here.